doing this nonsense, I mean, this is pretty annoying. But the internal discussion I'm having is this issue of application, because everybody's trying to say, hey, that won't ever work in the streets, et cetera, that whole line of trolling. My question in all this is, how do we make this combat applicable?
Build canine coordination, dictionary timing, etc.
Well, it's that issue, though, which is totally all correct, is how long are we staying in immediate range? The answer's probably not that long.
I think just how long you stay longer, like not very long at all.
No, because I can't reach you. I gotta close the gap. So what is double stick gonna do to allow me to close the gap? And if we're staying in pattern, we're gonna stay in mid-range.
So if we were going with that way, my first thought is that this, like, it's not a fighting stance. You don't stab, well, maybe, but
You can. I've taught it as a fighting stance. Good point.
yeah, but it's like, it's not like you're, I mean, you wouldn't square up like this necessarily, but
yeah,
this isn't like necessarily like you're gonna just advance a person.
No.
So, but if you had like
reset.
If we want to go back to again the obscure context of not sport,
Yeah.
warfare. Suppose you've got a spear, and you pass off the spear as you close in, and then it's just how to hit the guy a whole lot of times very quickly after you've already like cleared the weapon with the initial.
Yeah. I mean, teaching it this way as a transitionary point or as a start-stop point, it's a good place to begin. But the reality is, you're going to be constantly going anyways. Now, if you want to have a good economy of motion and all those good technical, biomechanical, like efficiency things.
I just find that so here both sticks are on the same side.
Yeah.
So any attack I launch is coming from
2 points.
this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also all this side.
Yeah.
Not to mention like you jam.
Yeah. It's predictable.
So I just don't see this being a spot you would stay at. Like the other one is that the opening to Sinawali to me is fighting standpoint. Strike across. This is terrible.
This is a bad idea.
This is like that little kid with two swords for the first time.
Is this thing, this position, as this thing shows up all the time in everything.
Yeah, but at least here your arms aren't crossed. If you're straight, yeah. Well, that's also high guard. It's just like or here. More than others not have options for splitting and opening something. All good things that might strike across here. Again, it's like if you come
Intercept.
in, I'm fucked. Then you only need one stick to do that.
Yeah. So and this is where, if I were to do Sinawali as, or just Sinawali, leave concept, principle, but if I say double wielding weapons of equal size that are either impact or damage, I mean, that will also determine my start and stop. But it will just say if this is a stand-in for swords, because rarely is this ever a stand-in for swords for me, but for this context it will be. I want to be down here anyways, because especially if the sword is thrustable, because I want to have that range to operate in. Now, if it's a cut and thrust type weapon, I still want to be here because I can thrust really too heavy a chop. But I still want to have options to be here in thrust positions. Because back here, my blade is behind me. Yeah. And it takes me so much time. Yeah, exactly. Get the sharper pointing towards something squishy. Way behind the blade.
I mean, and again, it's just a thing of, regardless of everything else, you now have to do something, even if it's just a stick. You have to do something about this when you come in. You're not going to just leave it there, which gives me a whole other level of ability to predict what you're going to do. Yeah. You have to do something about this. I want you to do about this. It tells me the other one.
So and also this is big television. Okay? Everybody who has spent any time in FMA knows what's going to happen. Or has a really good idea what's probably going to happen to them. Okay? Because the spotting mistake is only improved so often. Now, we'll have a pretty good idea what's going to happen here as well. The monkey is going to go in the other way. But there's so much more unpredictable movement here because you have more options. You don't have a lot of options. You have options here, all sorts of angle change.
Even from here.
Yeah. Because even if I want to be like in a transitionary cut pattern, I can still be transitionary cut patterns. Here is it.
Maybe it's a starting point. Like the starting from here.
Yeah. I prefer. Start from here. Boom, 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 boom.
Because like the pattern itself of one, it's not pattern that's the problem, but you're not going to start here basically deliberately. So I'm trying to find a context where you end up with that. So it could be out here.
Here.
For whatever reason.
Here.
Whatever reason you're here, you parry down, strike.
Well, let's just play with the feet. Simple feet. I feed you here. And feed you here. Okay. I feed you here. Boom, boom. I feed you up here. Boom, boom. Feed you here. Boom, boom, boom. Feed you here. Boom, boom, boom. Feed you here. Boom, boom. I feed you here. I mean,
The instinct is to, like, if I'm going to parry out, switch.
Yeah.
So it's not, I guess that's sort of.
it's still Sinawali. So here's the other one too. Like, people get so specific on Sinawali when Sinawali is a broad concept. Sinawali, depending on how one's translation of Tagalog or Cebuano or whatever it is, Sinawali really just means. So Sinawali isn't just 6 count, high heaven 6, earth 6, all the other Rampita, Bandiabana, all the fucking terms that are out there. It literally just means to weave. So whether it is to weave this way, this, it's still Sinawali. You're just weaving 2 elements to accomplish combative tasks. People get so fixated on the term, especially the cultural concept behind the term, and try to associate movement patterns to it, when like the broad concept is just to weave. So if I'm feeding you here, the weave is what matters. What you're doing is you're transitioning and bridging. Because I mean, the other one too, the weave does no good if you stay out there.
Right.
Again, it goes back to the whole question we had before, is how often are we going to stay medium range or long range? Not often, or not for long. Because if we're going to fight, the fight's going to close the gap. We're going to fight. Out here, it's not a fight. It's range and distance.
Well, there's. Yeah. Well, being the guy who uses range sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like when you're at maximum range, you have that bit of you step in, you take an attack, and you back out again.
Yeah.
So, but medium range is like you have to be transitionary because if you're in medium range, you're either going closer or you're getting back to long range, so you would have that option to get out because like out here is safe. You've got melee weapons. I'm out of your range.
Yeah.
I like being here. You can't hit me.
Medium range is the dangerous range out of when it comes to all the things that's transitionary. It's just my thoughts, my opinion. Medium range is the most dangerous because you're caught in between attacking and retreating, and it's too much. It's a game of movement and position. When you're in court, though, like immediate close range, or got hands on to you, that's the fight. But medium range is dangerous because you are in that transitionary period between getting out to long range or getting in from long range, and in that transition of closing the gap. really, really dangerous. Because once you're already in the pocket, in the space where both of you are touching each other, then that's a fight. Versus transitionary between two spaces, that's dangerous. Because it's a game of speed, timing, positioning, and reach. So,
Yeah, you're trying to get in. I don't think you're trying to stay.
Yeah.
At this range for an extended period, but you end up with like fencing swords where both cut to pieces.
Yeah. So
because you cannot possibly
stay there.
Yeah, it's the odds are pretty much 100% that you're both going to get messed up.
Exactly. So
But
either
if you get to medium close range, suddenly I can cut off all of your counterattack options.
that's correct.
And hit you in the head repeat.
That is correct.
And so it's a thing of like, even if you prefer media range,
yeah,
the other guy's gonna come closer because he stands. If he's the only one trying, he's probably gonna win.
I mean, so like very basis of it, and this is where a principle a lot of people get like hung up and lost on it at the same time is if I can touch you, I can touch you, I can kill you. However, you can do the same to me. It's a foundational principle for what to teach. So in that, like fight space management is get into the range where you can do all the things you want to do to me by taking the initiative, but at the risk of the same could happen to you. This is really time, pace, tempo, and initiative is really important. But if we're in the fight is here, okay? And we're both at extreme risk. So, but it's simple. If I can't reach you, I can't hit you. So get in the range so I can hit you. Now, but if I'm in the range to hit you, you probably can hit me. So, and understanding that very simple principle, a lot of people get hung up on it. I don't know why. It's that fucking simple. Well, yeah, for like playing with Sinawali tomorrow, I want to say like when we do it, it's more or less we're gonna play with two-handed weaponry because we don't do the standard Sinawali patterns anyways. It's one so, and I've only made like 4 levels of the full Sinawali pattern itself, because there's like 12 levels of it. Yeah, if I researched it correctly. But I mean, staying with high heaven 6.
So you're saying you're going to get a bunch of comments that you don't even understand.
That is correct. That is correct. I can't follow along with the pattern, sure.
Well, you know, this dude invented gun kata back in 2000. They made a movie based off of it. All the military guys laughed at him, said you don't understand it, and they shot him.
But in the very principle of like understanding 2 weapons operational in space, I mean, simple fact that Sinawali is just it's 2 weapons weaving operating in space. So how do we make the combat applicable? Well, we don't use 2 sticks. We use one and the other.
I know, it's like from a basic of the like parry off, hold.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is this follow through, right? Because parry off, hold it, like instinctively, like if I'm just, I just withdraw back, which is like one of those simple gross motor movements.
Yeah.
But if you really want to do Sinawali, you could come to there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things of like, why are you being so specific? Because, you know, then you end up with the whole, why are we transitioning hands? But like that initial, parry up, and then hit, and doing the whole dance of death thing, or you can just, you know, parry off, smash. Because like, once you trap the dude's arm, why don't you switch hands and punch him with the other hand? You wouldn't.
You want to, so like in the case of it, where let's go off of that play. So throw strike all the way through, cut through, boom, there you go. Go back to the back side.
Yeah.
But going here, that sucks. Cut all the way through, line up over the top, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we do a movie like this, lightsabers go different hands, but doing that be so interesting.
But again, it's like in infinitely simpler. Trap and then hit.
Yeah. That's
Way less.
why I like it as a bridging tool.
Yeah.
It teaches me how to bridge space so I can do my primary. It's my preferred arm.
I mean, we could all, well, we're not posting, but it'd be great.
Now,
Someone else who hasn't done this stuff before. Just, some random person. I found the use for Sinawali and you start doing the general readers thing on him. Watch that person, like, I don't know what to do here. And it's like, yeah, intimidation factor.
yeah. But then like the other side of Sinawali. Okay? Sinawali without sticks. I mean, Sinawali without sticks is forehand, backhand. Forehand, backhand. Forehand, backhand. Hit. It's teaching you transitioning striking patterns in boxing.
It's all like getting closer, falling back or whatever. It's
But even then, okay? Even then, with boxing, I'm either going to stay in the pocket or I'm going to stay at range. Because I'm out here, I'm trying to figure out my positioning and range the target, figure out my reach. So I'm not going to sit here and go like this while I'm waiting, while I'm boxing. I'm going to figure out and play, and then I'll bridge in and stay there and then get out. And it's this issue, like people want to do the drill, and the drill is combat tested, but it's a training drill.
well, it's same as everything else. It's like watching room clearing videos of the guys walking in all standing straight up,
Yeah.
and doing their little pans. And this is like, no, this is special forces guys doing this and stuff. And then it's like actual scenario goes through your kids couch, and there goes your drill. Instantaneously, like it's a neat concept. It's good to teach the basics. It's good to have that muscle memory, and you know what the dude's supposed to do, so you know when something goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also
Familiarity of movement is, I mean,
right. So it's teaching that, because again, from a standpoint of just be able to move your arms.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sinawali as like a footwork thing.
Yeah.
Of doing
complex things.
focusing on your feet and just having your arms constantly still doing something.
Yeah, it's bilateral symmetry, complex problem solving, complex crossbody patterns. All this stuff is good for your brain and body.
Right, but again, it's like that's the same thing as like if you want to fight good, you get strong. Well, no martial art claims to the deadlift as being an integral part of their martial art, but helps with a few of them.
Suplex.
Right, but again, it's like you don't go to a karate dojo and they give you a workout routine and say do this before you come back. Because that's not the martial arts part of it. That's the working out part of it. But on some level, they have all the same drills. I mean, even in karate, they have the front stance and the back stance being exaggerated all to hell. And then they tell you, as a white belt, like, oh yeah, you see these videos of black belts doing it, where their back stance is like here, their front stance is here. It's like, oh, that's much easier.
Yep.
You have to learn the other way first.
Yeah, you gotta build the foundation.
Because you're teaching.
Strong here. Strong here.
Right, but again, it's like, this isn't how it actually works, but we have to teach you how to do it simpler first.
Which is funny, going back to like my thing with fencing, is especially with funky terrain, is having that ground appreciation of deliberate positioning.
Yeah.
Because shitty terrain. So if I'm bobbing and weaving on this, I have a high risk because of the constant motion of missing a beat. But if I'm slow and deliberate and have micro movements, I have a lot more control. So it's funny how things circle back that way. Or the heavy stances are important to build base and understanding, but I still want to be mobile as necessary, but still come into those very static, deliberate positions.
Well, and it's like in karate, if you really want to hit something with power, going into that low, deep stance, right as you impact, it does help you get more hips and deliver more mass on the target, but it's very situational as opposed to everything you do.
Well, start and
in
stop.
that.
Again, it's the start and stop. Start and stop. Start and stop. Everything in between is transitionary. Because we're constantly going from stand, step, strike, stand, step, strike, stand, step, strike. So there you